Hello, my name is Michael Knight. Welcome to my channel. The purpose of this channel is to help people understand the theory of electricity. The last video we talked about voltage, current, resistance, power. In this next video we're going to talk about when you have large numbers and small numbers, you have to use prefixes so the numbers don't get huge, get real long, cumbersome, hard to work with. Small numbers. So depending on where we're at in the electrical trade, depends on which prefixes we're going to be using. We may be using some of all of them, and you will see that as we work some of these problems a little later on. The large prefixes that we use typically start with tera, giga, mega, kilo, and then base unit, and then we go down to smaller prefixes, which would be milli, micro, nano, pico. So the key is, and I'll show you this as we start doing some of them, but the key is we want to, if the number needs to get, if it's like a decimal and a whole bunch of zeros, so we need the number to get bigger, so the prefix is going to be smaller. So it's always opposite. If you do a bigger prefix, it's going to be a smaller number. If you do a smaller prefix, it's going to be a larger number. And I'll show you how that works here in a little bit. So first of all, to get us started, we're going to start out with tera, giga, mega, kilo, and then the base. Okay, and the base could be volts, amps, ohms, watts. It could be any of those. And then we're going to go down. As we go down smaller, it's going to be milli, and then micro, and then nano, and pico. Okay, and then, okay, so we can do that much of it. And then what we'll use to represent that, for tera, we use a large T. For giga, a large G. For mega, a big M. For kilo, a big K. And then, of course, the base is whatever it is. Like I said before, it's volts, amps, ohms, watts are the main ones we're going to talk about right now. We will have some other ones later, but we won't worry about that yet. And then milli is the usually small m. That's how I usually write it. The micro is actually something like this, a mu, and then a nano is a little n. Usually look at something like that, and the pico is a little p. All right, so that'll give us the prefixes that we're going to use. All right, so that's the prefixes that we're going to use. The next thing, we need to probably convert a number. Let's just do a simple circuit here. We'll start with that. We can go through and we can start from the base. Going down, it would be minus 3 places, minus 6 places, minus 9 places, minus 12. And then going up from the base would be plus 3 places, plus 6, plus 9, plus 12 places. Okay? So we're going to need, typically, well, let's just do a little circuit here. Let's just do this little circuit. It's kind of like we did before with a resistor. All right, and we got a 12. Say we got a 12 ohm resistor, and we have a 6 volt circuit. Just do a simple one to start with. Okay, so for a simple one to start with, we need to know what's the current. Well, we can do our charts like our pie charts like we did before. EIR and PIE, pi. Okay, and we got we're looking for current, which is I. So we'll put our finger over current, and we need E divided by R. So E is 6 volts divided by 12 ohms will give you 0.5 amps, right? So we generally, what we want to look for normally is 1 to 3 whole numbers. 1 to 3 whole numbers. And we use our prefix to do that. So if I want 0.5, I'm going to just put 0.5 right here somewhere, 0.5. And I want to make that a bigger number, so I go to a smaller prefix, right? A bigger number, I go to smaller prefix. And that's kind of the rule to remember. Bigger number, smaller prefix. Smaller number, bigger prefix. All right, so we need to go, we want a bigger number, so smaller prefix. So we're going to go to the right, because we want this number to get bigger. So we go to the right, 1, 2, 3. There's a couple of zeros over there. And now it is milliamps. Because we moved it -3. We moved it to the right. So it would be milliamps in that case. So we could take some more numbers. Let's just take, let's say we just had 1,000,000. 1 million ohms. Okay. So what will we change this to? We want a smaller number, so we go to a bigger prefix. So if we go 1, 2, 3 places with our decimal, then that would be 1,000 K ohms. See that? And if you, that's not enough. That's still 4 numbers. So we want to go 1, 2, 3 more, and then that would go up to 6. So that would be a meg. That would be 1 megohm. And you could do the same thing here. So you see you have 0.0000001. All right. And let's say this was it could be ohms or anything. Let's say it's amps. Let's say that's amps. Okay. So that's a very small number. So we want the number to be bigger. 1 to 3. We want it 1 to 3 whole numbers. So we're going to have to go. Actually, I better move that amp over, hadn't I? We'll put that amp way over here. See what we end up with. Okay, so let's move it 3. So if we move it 3 to the right, which will be down, that would be milli. So we put a little M here. That's milli. That's not enough. We'll move it through more. That would be the micro, the mu. I'll kind of put something there. So that's the mu. And then we need to move 3 more. We'll put 2 zeros. And that would be nano. Small n. And that's what we would end up with. The nano. Nanoamps. So it would end up being 100, or I just do it like that, nanoamps, so I can read it. And that's all there is to it. When you're doing prefixes, if you want the number, if the number's really small like this, you want the number to get bigger, the prefix gets smaller. If you want the number to get smaller, too big a number, you want it smaller, the prefix gets bigger. And that's the easiest way to remember it. And that's the easy way to do that. Thank you.